So we're hopefully finishing Pound of Flesh today. Last time we checked out Tempest Company and started to make our way down to the underside of the station. Sort of had a overview of the area and also the main populated area, Dogtown, and now we're getting into sort of just this ruined, decaying part of the station. So the sink. So roll encounter on location change, roll encounter every hour. And infection saves every hour unless wearing a back or hazard suit. The sink is what remains of the once bustling downtown center of the dream. It now lies in ruins, covered in twisting ropes of cybernetic wires, creeping around every fallen building. The sink is dark, fetid, quiet. Behind every shadow lurks some hideous abomination. Make an infection check once in an hour, unless wearing a hazard suit, backsuit, or exosuit. So 1. The Falls. 20-story toxic sludge waterfall. Strength check to climb down unassisted by gear. An old hunglung named Otto sells scavenged climbing gear for a full oxygen tank per set, or 2,000 credits. For 500 credits, Otto will sketch a map of directions to the doctor. 5% chance the gear is faulty. 2. The doctor. Hidden beneath the toxic sludge runs a pulsating tunnel with walls ridged like a metal gullet. At the far end is a disquieting makeshift operating theater, built entirely from root rims. Dr. Bankali, a youngly driven surgeon, works feverishly on a hunglung. Dr. Bankali, Combat 65, the very powerful scalpel there. 1d10 plus infection save. Instinct 65, wounds 2. Bankali is singularly devoted to curing someone named Ariel of a rare and terminal disease which she only calls her sickness. He is the last remaining scrap of Caliban's sanity, compartmentalized in an advanced homegrown sleeve. He is unaware of the damage Caliban is causing or the ACMD outbreak. Gross orifice in the wall opens onto a tunnel to the atrium. Bankali cautions the players not to go poking around in his heart. Bankali will install cybernetic gills that remove the need to breathe oxygen if asked. If Bankali is killed, Caliban loses control. Move to outbreak phase 3. I saw what seemed a cluster of great towers. Rat, I cried, Master, what is this city? So some of the encounters in the sink. 6. 1d10 hunglung engineers heading to life support 1, bringing a huge replacement filter. Without help, they will not survive the trip there. Or maybe you found 1d10 choke spawn. Or perhaps a sinkhole body. I wonder if this is the same. Yeah, that's the same table for just the general choke. So free the old city, massive sunken and abandoned city, collapsing buildings, 1D5 10 stories, raw sewage, chokes on stalk for darkness, dimly lit through cracks in the ceiling 100 stories above. There are a few notable landmarks, each about an hour apart. Juno Tower, former corporate HQ on the Dream, 34 floors above the waist and 4 sunken below. Sadistic Tempest Company sniper perch near the top, picking up travelers for sport. The Metro, dark descent down 3 creaking stairwells into abandoned metro tunnels. Power can be temporarily restored with a successful jury rigging or engineering check. This opens up fast travel to the veins or the mass grave. The Outpost, Tempest Company forward operating base in a crumbling apartment building. 1D5 paranoid operators. Combat 25, submachine gun, 2D10 damage. Instinct 25, wounds 2. The Sewers, reached by splunking down a 100-foot drop in cracked pavement, leads to mass grave and the burrows. Roll for encounters twice per hour. RT Find the Archives. Decayed corporate research facility. Requires a guide or significant time spent to find. Investigation of patient records reveals that cyber surgeon Dr. Boncali and his daughter Ariel came to the Dream 23 years ago to cure her terminal cancer. And just note on the Wireman, Wireman is best as an environmental hazard, not an enemy. It shapes the landscape. Yeah, at least from that stat block, you wouldn't be really fighting it. And it comes with a table to, roll up some features. You could have pulsating flesh sack with machine mess overflowing with cyber mods, AP10, and a 4 acid vomit. Or maybe you encounter tangled wires and cables with an egg sac. After taking 20 damage, the sac splits and spews 1d10 choke spawn. With 6 swallow, body save will be ingested whole, 1d10 damage round until it makes a wound. So for mass grave, there is a lonely sign that reads, even if you cannot breathe, you don't deserve to die here, come back, come. This is your only warning before you see the 1-story high pile of corpses, ripped limbs, and discarded husks. This is what remains of more than a decade of Caliban's monstrous experiments. Fear save or 1d5 stress upon locating the grave. There's a 25% chance that, if an hour is spent searching, one random cyber mod is found discarded here. Installing the cyber mod incurs 2 rolls on the mutation table and gives you permanent disadvantage on saves to resist if Caliban awakens. And finally 5, the veins. A series of drainage pipes, ventilation shafts, and maintenance tunnels that lead all over the Dream. Any module can be accessed if you know the way. The tunnels are marked by symbols that Imogen, Kane, and the Hunglungs can easily decipher, allowing them the ability to strike any part of the Dream and retreat back to relative safety. They are unaware that Caliban is the originator of these symbols. It takes 2d10 hours to follow any of these veins back to a module. Roll randomly on the front cover to see where crew appears. Once a route is established, it can be traversed again if detailed notes were kept. Life Support 1 is the only remaining semi-functional life support unit in the choke. The guile of Caliban will stalk and ambush whenever the opportunity presents itself. Mood, no light, loud thumping machinery, floors groan like the building might collapse any second. One massive cracked door, encrusted with cables and wires spreading vein-like across steel doors. Too heavy to open, without heavy-duty construction equipment or an exosuit. If players spend time searching, they'll find a small cracked entrance at 1A, where a fallen tire marked EST-03 with scientists or heavy machinery background, your character could know that's environmental scrubbing power, has gouged a hole in the main building. The hole is small, and anyone wearing bulky armor must spend a round carefully entering or else risk damaging their suit. Control rooms. Several decayed terminal banks. A close search will reveal one terminal, which can be salvaged with some work, containing a complex map of the veins. A rusty and crumbling metal staircase. If more than one person climbs at once, it collapses, leads to the processing plant. 3 processing plant, incredibly quiet except for the low hum of the oxygen scrubbles. Staircase to the filter is booby-trapped with a noisemaker which can be heard from the outpost. A cart of dirty uniforms hides the entrance to the outpost. Outpost, dingy safe house, a bloodless corpse lays discarded in the corner, stash of pulse rifle ammunition, and 3 oxygen tanks, 1 D10 hours each. 5. The filter. If the filter has been brought, it can be replaced here in 1 hour, otherwise it takes 3 D10 hours to scrub the old filter clean. Lasts 4 D10 days. The Guile of Caliban. Combat 40 slash times 2. 2d10 damage or train clash 1d10 damage or bloodsucker bite. Instinct 65. AP10 has camouflage and 3 wounds. The train clash, body saver knocked unconscious for 1d5 rounds. Bloodsucker bite, 1d10 damage, doubled if target is unconscious. Heals the guile for 1 wound. Fast-crawling beast with 6 arms. Silent movement. Can crawl on walls and ceilings as fast as the floor. Ambushes and then retreats. Always runs away after gaining the wound. So it looks like we have a pretty complicated map of the boroughs. Which is number 8 here. The burrows is a cluster of flesh interfaces the size of corridors. These burrows are the only place you harvest the fruit which becomes cigarettes. There are hundreds of burrows like this in the choke. Eventually they all lead to Caliban's heart. One, the big wall. At the edge of the sink is a patch of hive-like burrows blocking the massive bulkhead. One of them glows with a dim light. This one will, if climbed and entered, reveal a wet closed orifice, which opens when it takes 10 plus damage, heading inside to the burrow chambers. 2, dead Hunglong. The flesh has already started to reclaim him. Scalpel in one hand, he's coming for you carved into the other. 3, Gene Pool. TD10 Octavian stuck to the flesh. Emerge with Caliban in 1d5 rounds if not removed. Large sphincter in the floor if stepped on reveals sliding tunnel to Caliban's heart. So the black circles are empty. You white, you roll on the encounter table, which you could encounter 2, nothing. 7, grasping veins. Random character must body save or be sucked into the walls and sent to room 3. Or maybe you found 4. Mouth forms and spews bile. Body save or armor no longer protects from infection. So the stars are 2 random encounters plus supplies. And the supplies you could find at 8. 1d10 pulse rifle ammunition, scattered magazines amongst decayed corpses. A 6, 1d5 fruit sacks. The Solarian Church pays highly for these in batches of 3, which are processed into sick racks. Must be kept in a sealed container. The sink will ruin them. Or maybe a 4, hidden cash, 1d5 stim tax, 1d10,000 credits. The pluses are, okay, a random encounter that you add to. And the minuses are a random encounter that you subtract 2 from. The pink lines are orifices, which require 2d10 damage to open using fire alarms. Alerts creatures in the next room, which I guess would mean you'd need to kind of roll your encounters a room ahead of time. And then the solid lines are the fleshy, throbbing corridor. And the dotted pink lines, flooded to the knees corridor. And if you're not in a suit, you gain +1 infection. I thought we've read husks before, but we'll just go ahead and read it again here. Half-formed clones. Sanded down features, no exposed orifices arise. Everything a blank, featureless slate. They grow out of the walls, sliding off and slapping the ground when finished. So now we're to the final location, Caliban's heart. It's a slick, wet pit of cybernetic and organic fusion. Every inch of these twisting chambers crawls with flesh-seeking wire tendrils, looking to merge with any living tissue and subsume it into the whole. Every turn roll 1d10. A 1-5, the rolled location is flooded with tendrils, knocking everyone to the floor and forcing an infection check. On a critical failure, character begins to merge with Caliban. 1d5 rounds requires a strength check to be pulled free. So in one, we have the jealousy of Caliban. Dominates the room, slumped over in a corner, half sunken in a pool of dark blood. It attacks anyone who isn't infected but otherwise ignores the crew. The jealousy of Caliban. Combat 80, bash, 5d10 damage, or flesh cannon, 3d10 damage. Preload instinct at 20, but 5 wounds. Flesh cannon shoots disgorged limbs, viscera, and blood at the target. Infection check at disadvantage. Garbled screams. Stay away from her. Only I can find the cure. Why won't you leave us alone? A grossly enlarged former human swollen with fat, metal plates, and tubes fused into its flesh. Barrels of projectile weapons extrude from its chest. Mouths, eyes, and arms. Hands terminate in brick-like metal boxes. Skin wrapped around it like a disguise. So 2, the collapsed ventricle. Hundreds of terminal monitors merge grotesquely with organic bulkhead. Each of them displays a hideous unblinking eye. Sanity save or gain 1d5 stress. On the wall bordering the inner chamber is a password-protected area control console, which allows the user to spy on anyone in the dream using the nearest terminal as a camera. There's a giant dark terminal monitor in the far corner, which if broken into reveals access to the inner chamber. The rotting chamber. Well, we'll go ahead and read 4 first because, at least from how I can see, you're really much more likely to have gone in 4 before 3. 4 is the atrium, an obscene torture chamber. 3d10 citizens of the dream hanged on rusty meat hooks, while fist-sized cyber leeches, combat 45, infection check, wound 1, slowly digest the bodies. An orifice in the door floor reveals a tunnel to the doctor. And 3, the rotting chamber, a jungle of gnarled veins and cables sprouting from every inch of the walls to the center of the chamber, where the avatar of Caliban sits on a twisted, oily throne built of disfigured cybernetic organisms. The awful crown on his head throbs with each pulse from the tangled veins. Killing the avatar and donning the crown grants the user total control over all the dream systems. Sanity save at disadvantage to take the crown off. Otherwise, it is impossible to remove without killing the user. The crown can open a hidden hatch to the inner chamber. 5. The inner chamber. A dark and towering hollow, black granite floors, quiet except for faint reason. Fused into the wall is Caliban, pathetic, mutilated. His human form is unrecognizable, and he cannot speak, only rasp out machine-assisted breaths. A black child-sized box lays in front of him. Inside of it lies Ariel, Dr. Boncoli's daughter. She should have died long ago from terminal cancer, But Buncoli's tireless efforts have kept her alive, though unaging, for 23 years. She dies if removed from the box. Caliban exists only to keep her living. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Caliban, formerly Dr. Buncoli, Combat 50, see below. Instinct 85, Wounds 2, see below. Reinforcements. Caliban himself cannot fight, though he can call chokespawn, husks, or attempt to compel infected to do his bidding. Sanity save to resist. Reinforcements arrive within 1d10 rounds. Hard to kill. Caliban is more of a loose hive mind at this point rather than a person, and makes a great campaign-length villain. If the entire dream is destroyed, there's a 10% chance Caliban escaped on some other infected person or machine. If his original form in the inner chamber is killed, Prospero's dream starts to fall apart. It will self-destruct in 1d10 hours. Congratulations, you won. So, encounters on the dream. Never passing through a slice of the map. Inside front cover. Roll 1d10 and reference the table to see if there's a station encounter or deadly encounter, or no encounter. If violence breaks out, there's a 10% chance Tempest Company operators arrive in 1d10 rounds. Otherwise, no help is on the way. If the deadly encounter doesn't fit with the phase events you've completed, move down the list until you find one that matches. So, let's see. 3, no encounter. Well, let's ratchet it up. Let's pretend we're in phase 3. So a 9, which is a deadly encounter. And since we're in phase 3, we're adding a plus 10, which makes it 17. A gnashing mouth opens in the bulkhead, and 2d10 husks stream out. 0, so a deadly encounter. Uh, 15. 5d10 plus 10 teamsters. Burning and looting, trying to gather enough forces to take a stand against Tempest Company. In 1d10 rounds, armored troopers will arrive and tear gas everyone present, body save or fall prone coughing. So a station encounter. 23. A hawker pawning a random 1d10 piece of equipment. 1 through 5. Well, actually, we'll just roll. A 1. Oh, yeah, it's a piece of equipment for 50% off. We'll roll one more. We'll pretend like it's phase 2 this time. So a 13. A fleshy mouth opens in the bulkhead. Sanity save, revealing 2 cybernetic tongues. Roll body save at disadvantage, or 1d10 damage per round. We'll roll a couple just station encounters, just since we didn't really see that many. At 97, all the lights flicker and turn off, sound of a heartbeat, heavy belabored breathing. 19. Oxygen beggar from the choke. They need 1d100 credits or they'll be sent back today. Giving reduces stress by 1. 67. Gang of Board. 38. Or, 11. Squatting at abandoned establishment. And finally, crit. Anytime doubles are rolled, roll again and combine the Alright, we'll just go ahead and skip that. So establishments. The dream is a giant metropolis filled with hundreds of different establishments. Use these as a highlight for what the crew may run into while traveling, and mark it down on your map for future reference. And some basic living expenses. Squalor, 10 credits a day. Tempest Company will throw you in the choke if they find you. Borderline, 50 credits a day, can eat, breathe, sleep. Citizen, 100 credits a day to move about comfortably. Decadent, go wherever you want, do whatever you want for 300 credits a day. So, 13. You found a Mahjong Club. 500 credits to buy in. No androids allowed. Example names might include Mama's Game or Red Table. 43. Capsule Hotel. 100 credits a night. Rest saves are a disadvantage. Example names include Stop and Pop or Sleepland. Direction from strangers to any establishment costs 10 credits, which is worth enough for a day of oxygen. 005 is Chai Room, 5 credits a cup, plus 50 credits for hallucinogenic tea, body save at disadvantage. 52. I Ching Oracle, 90 credits, sanity save, success, grants 1 free reroll this session. An example name is the 3-coin message. 63. Strip Club, 50 credit cover, 20 credit lap bands, reduce stress by 1, maximum of once a month. 83. Shuttle Dock, shuttle for quick travel across the station, 50 credits for a ride. Denizens of the Dream. Use these random encounters as proprietors, victims, patrons, or anything else that is not provided in this module. They can be used as is, mixed up as a jumping off point for your own characters. They all want something and are flawed humans. Breathe life into them. Remember that the Goliano 2 Bratva and Tempest Company are constant threats, as are being thrown into the choke or getting infected. Everyone knows about Caliban. He's been a persistent urban legend for years. So some characters you might find. 18. Krish, a life support engineer. Secret saboteur, wants to overthrow the court. 72. Eliwen, knockoff mod dealer. Watch my back tonight. Gandy's crew is gunning for me. of 38. Ardhaya, Oxygen Beggar. I can't go back to the choke. I can't. 24. Skeevy, Pinkerton Unit. Have you seen this individual roll 22 for the description of fugitive? He's looking for Ico, Ultimo player. Sometimes people get sick here, like vomiting blood and liquid metal sick. Yeah, sounds like someone who knows too much. And finally, 73 Stein, a colony recruiter. Lead a team to scout terrain and install terraformers. 6 months salary good? And space station toolkit. Use the tables on the following pages to quickly generate a space station for your crew to board and investigate. You can start by filling in the blanks on the prompts below, or roll 1d10 for each blank on the included tables. Each station has a chance that it's currently undergoing a crisis. The tables on the following pages can help bulk up the space station with its structure, layout, and noteworthy establishments. Some of these you can use at the table, others are better for pre-game installation. So some resources at these stations, 7, galley stock, or 3, weapons, or 1, equipment, or 7, rations, 10, recreational drugs, or 2, an asteroid mining machinery. Some station names. Pontians, Sar, or maybe Iblis's sword, or perhaps Sorter's herald. And the core station could be a secret corporate research facility, or maybe an overcrowded habitat colony, or perhaps a marine battle school. The celestial body it's around could be an overpopulated slum world, a giant asteroid cluster, or maybe a resource-rich planet. Its core leader could be a scheming marine general, or maybe an asteroid mining oligarch, or a reclusive intellectual. And the group in charge could be Teamsters Local 101977L, or maybe the House of Tarkhan, or perhaps the 91st Colonial Dragoons. So Rim Space Station. Actually, we'll just read through it and roll it. I probably should have just done that for the last one. I wasn't really thinking through. So out on the rim near 6, resource-rich asteroid cluster, an asteroid mining station, call sign Okay. Call sign 54 spins. It's outwardly controlled by Sallow Mercury Biomonitors Incorporated. They're slightly undermined by House Seversion. There's a 20% chance the station is dealing with blockade crisis. Otherwise, everything is fine, and you can buy fuel as normal, but they're currently only offering warp cores for sale. And there's a rumor going around that this station is in dire need of out-of-work scientists. And yeah, the note just says, which I mean, in the context, I'm sure, of you playing a longer campaign to roll up a few and just let your players know they're out there. So space station structures could be torus ring, most common design, like the Stanford torus or bishop ring. The outer ring could provide enough centrifugal force to provide artificial gravity. Or maybe it's an amalgamation station, a combination of any of the designs. So roll twice and combine. Torus and tower. So I'm guessing the inner part of the torus just stretches out then. Or maybe you found a sphere station. Can be as big as a Dyson or Bernal sphere, or as small as a single pod station. Or maybe you found a cylinder. The cylinder's rotation could provide a rationale for artificial gravity, and station could be quite large, like an O'Neill cylinder. Some layouts for your stations, and kind of space station issue, low security, high risk of theft, threat of violence, or piracy. Maybe it's scarce of resources currently, or maybe it's got lack of fuel, warp cores, and ammunition. Noteworthy locations. To find out what modules and establishment are on your station, roll 1d100 for each location. If you use the space station layout chart and rolled a 4, you'd roll 1d100 4 times. This creates a pretty small space stations with a maximum of 10 modules. Another way is to interpret this is that the modules you roll up are major noteworthy locations on your space station. You have any other number of small establishments, but these are the ones the station is known for. Tying it all together, using all of the space station generation tools during a game probably isn't a great idea, as it would slow gameplay down too much. Instead, these are great for wardens. Need some inspiration when populating their sector, or to answer a quick question when play veers in a different direction than you were expecting. As always, play is the most important things, and if any of these results don't work for you, throw them out. Looks like an example. I don't think I'm going to roll through these, as these are pretty generic. So that concludes it. That's kind of a bit of a anticlimax because we, had that final boss there, and then it's just a bunch of tables at the end. So that was a little bit disappointing from just reading it. I don't know where I'd put I don't know, maybe just at the beginning. I guess I wanted you to get in right away. So that concludes this. I really liked it. I really liked the sort of resources it put on the table. But that'll be it for today. I'm not sure what I've got planned for tomorrow. We might be just jumping into the next Mothership module.